Right, hi guys, welcome back. Hope you've had a good week. Want to reiterate from last week, obviously everything that we're discussing with Ollie and I, we don't script anything, we just sit down and we go through, and just wanted to make sure that we spoke last week a bit on vegetarianism, and afterwards Ollie and I were talking, and vegetarianism is a big topic. So if we didn't really do that much justice, we've had some feedback of perhaps there's more interest and we delve more into that. I brought it up really more on the emphasis of trying to go on the meat side of things rather than to really look at vegetarianism. But if that is of some interest, that's certainly something we can look up ahead. So give us some feedback, and thank you for the feedback we've had this week. Keep it rolling in, and we thought this week we're going to delve slightly into the other thing which confuses people of you can't outrun a bad diet, we know that, but what do I do? What do I do for exercise? So this is very much your forte as far as linking up the diet but also the exercise.
Yeah.
But, what do people do?
I think the first thing is just moving.
Yeah.
People think straight away exercise has to be going into the gym, getting on a treadmill, or getting onto an exercise bike, going to classes, picking up weights. Essentially, movement is what it is.
Yeah.
And in my book, I put the 5 M's, and one of the M's is movement, not exercise or anything like that. It's just movement. It's exercise wouldn't have fit with 5 M's.
And I think there's confusion between what's exercise, what's fitness, and what's healthy.
Yeah.
So there's this image of fitness, and that someone who looks fit must be healthy. And so therefore we're sold coming up into, the January, Feb rush, the health centres and the gyms, that's where they get their trade, because people say, right, I've got to get fit. And they're buying into that image that is fitness is that, or health. But from a chiropractic perspective, movement is key. And we have eat well, move well, think well. Move well is getting movement in the body. It stimulates the nervous system, it feeds back to the brain, and that just has a cascade of benefits. So it's movement is the key.
Movement is the key, and I think when we look at that fitness side of things and what is health, and automatically we're thrown in the media with men's health, muscle and fitness and different things like this, which are good publications, but it puts this picture of healthy as when people are shredded and they have really defined muscles and it's looking good. But we can say from first-hand perspective, you've treated me when I used to compete in bodybuilding in 2012 with my last show, but I think I'd done 4 shows whilst getting treated by you. And I was not healthy when I was at very low body fat.
No, it's almost like the fitness industry is slightly similar to the fashion industry, that we are sold this image. And therefore to portray this image is what we need to be fit and therefore healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But you can, I'm sure there's many ripped men and women out there who are very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And there's always every now and again the marathon runner or so who drops dead down from a sudden illness or so, and they go, oh, but they were perceived as being healthy.
Yeah, and it's not to say they aren't all unhealthy.
Yeah.
They are all unhealthy. Can't even get more.
Of course.
Like they will get some have very good definition, very fit, that are perceived as healthy when we come to testing. And it's how do we get this into there where we want it, again, like we said with diet, is getting the minimum amount for the maximum results.
Yeah.
And that goes with training.
I think also it goes down to the goals. What is someone's goal? If someone is, wanting to get ripped, they've got to look at what it takes to get to there. If a person says, listen, I sit all day in front of a computer and I need to undo the effects of that, then the first start is to say, right, you've got to move.
Mm-hmm.
So that can just be, the exercise can be, I'm going to walk up the cliche, I'm going to walk up the stairs, or I'm going to go for a walk at lunch.
Park further away when you go to the store.
I have so many patients who have problems and they blame the gardening or they blame the painting, decorating. But they sit in front of a car, sit in a car to work, sit in front of a computer, eat lunch at a computer, drive home, a busy day, and sit and watch TV. And then they do some physical exercise on the weekend, which gardening is physical exercise. It's push, pull, turn, twist. It's like going to the gym. And they break down. And they turn around and they say, it's because of the gardening. Yeah. It's like, no, it's because you are not conditioned to do that amount of exercise at once. So I think it depends what people's goal are. If it's just to move, they can start by walking.
I think as well, when we look at that, and you're obviously, you know backs inside out, and when people say, I've got a bad back, I can't do this, I can't do that, and we need to strengthen that back as well most of the time. Get the flexibility, get the movement in there, and then strengthen it. It's not to say go and do a big deadlift or something like that.
Yeah, it's
how do we
back
get the minimum?
What's going on, but why did that happen?
Yeah. And let's stop that and make it not happen again. So with movement.
So what are some of the best movements out there?
Walking is great.
It's got to be the number one at start.
But also, getting a standing desk is a very good thing. However, there are studies to show that standing all the time is just as bad as sitting all the time.
We have in one of our adjusting rooms, our desk is a sit-stand desk. It's actually a bureau, but it gives me the option that I can stand. So I stand most of the day, but I'm moving. I'm not standing still.
Exactly.
So I've had a couple of patients who say, is the message now that we must stand all day? I said, no. The message is to give you options to move and sit and move and sit. So there's obviously the walking element is good. What's your thoughts on running? I know running's a hot topic because we've got some training to do for the London Marathon.
I've got the London Marathon coming up. But especially like when people see someone my size of running, me running does not look pretty because I'm not built like a...
You're not a Mo Farah build.
No. But, he wants to sign up to the marathon and get beat, so,
we're technically going to compete against him.
Yeah.
But the people have this thing about running is that, no, I can't run or I shouldn't run or so.
It's quite high impact.
I go back to people and say, what is your goal? I think for some people who want to run and they run, 2 or 3 times a week and they build up and they do you've got the... which is Castle 5K, which I think is brilliant. And then people build up and they do. And I said, if you do 2 or 3 runs as well as other exercise, and you want to do that 2 or 3, and you enjoy it, I said, there's huge benefits for it.
Enjoyment.
If it's a case of now I want to push my body, and now you're going to a different realm. Now you're going into a stress mode, and so you've got to become more athletic with that of recovery and all sorts. But I think most people, if they can cope with running, that can be a viable option. But if some people say, listen, I hate running, or I run and that gives me discomfort, then don't do it. There's still other exercises. Swimming, there's, you just get the body moving, get the heart rate up, and get those benefits. And it's amazing, sleep patterns. People suddenly become more conscious of what they eat, just because they go, well, I've gone and done all the exercise. I don't really want to ruin it by eating that chocolate bar. And so they just become more conscious just by moving more.
There was actually a study in America that showed that people that work out regularly, 3 to 4 times a week, for 30 to 40 minutes, they actually have 40% more productivity than people that don't.
Yeah.
And that is just on a baseline population. It's not even saying that is high numbers, that was like a few thousand. But imagine when you take more people into it, it's going to just go higher and higher. And I think as well, you touched on enjoyment there.
Yeah.
What you enjoy is key. However, if your goal is fat loss and you're not doing any resistance training or bodyweight training and stuff like that, and you're just going running, and you're eating in a massive caloric deficit, chances are you can burn muscle tissue and then just end up a shrunk, smaller version of yourself.
Yeah, so I suppose the message is, it depends where you're starting from.
Yeah.
If someone's doing nothing, move. I have a lot of patients who then say, I suppose I should go and join the gym.
If you want
I said, are you going to do it in 3 months' time or 6 months? And they go, I don't know. I said, well, why do it? Start with something that you want. If you enjoy playing a sport, you enjoy football, go and play 5-a-side. Even if it's once a week and you're doing nothing and you have a kick around, or do something. Just start where what you enjoy. And then so there's this perception that there's this image of the fit exercise fitness model goes to the gym, and that's a good option. Gyms are great, but if you don't enjoy it, it's a bit like someone saying, I think playing tennis is good. And you go, I hate tennis. No, but it's good for you, so come and play tennis. Down the line, when there's the weather change or something, they're going to go. So I'm the opposite. I grew up with ball sports, so the idea for me is to run around and chase a ball, and like a dog running after a ball. But you
like rugby and they've got a funny shaped ball, and it's not football.
Yeah, no.
But with that as well,
it's not.
I've forgotten what I was going to say with that, but essentially it's doing what you enjoy doing.
Most definitely. I think that's the message with exercise.
The technology we have nowadays is that we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, we have catch up and demand TV. It's cheaper sometimes to just get an exercise bike than a couple of months worth of gym membership and plonk yourself down in front of Netflix. If that makes the time pass away, you have Netflix on your laptop, on your iPad.
Take our podcast, put it on your phone and go for a walk.
Exactly. Audible is amazing. Listen to things that pass the time. And I love, when I go out on my bike, I have my Audible books on. That is me time. That is my meditation time. And an hour or 2 hours, 3 hours can pass pretty quickly before you know it, just by listening to an audiobook.
Yeah. And
running, to me, yes, I'm doing the London Marathon, but my training is essentially, if I run with music, I push myself too hard. When Rocky's theme music comes on, it's like, yep, you're just going trying to catch a chicken. But if you've got an audiobook on, you walk at the same pace, and then you think, I'm struggling, and then realise you can
get specific, you can get specific beats for different training.
The Apple Watch, and I don't know the new one, but the one last year, which this one is, they had Nike Run, and they actually had Mo Farah record some training things for you. So they had training programs.
And this is where I think technology is great. Technology is getting a bash. Also, it's like, well, it gets people sitting and there's computers, but also technology is getting quite wise with the Fitbit. It's been brilliant. I've got loads of patients.
Unless you get to like 9,900 steps, and then you're like this at night time, and then you want to get the extra 100 steps.
Yeah, I saw a lovely cartoon of a guy walking with Fitbits all up his arm. He's walking through, and his mate stands next to him and says, "So how's the new part-time job going?" And he says, "All this Fitbit walking is going really well." So he's taking other people's Fitbits out for a walk. So I thought, that's
very that work. Well, you can. But
I think it's quite interesting because suddenly people are interested in how many steps, and they get home and they go, "Oh, I've done 8,000. I'm just going to go for a walk around the block." It just makes people aware.
It's gamifying.
And so you start off saying, "This is what actually how little I'm doing, and now I've got information that says now I'm doing better."
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to wait for I've lost X amount of stuff. They can instantly see that I've made a change, and then down the line they can feel the benefit.
What I think is good to notice here is that, in fact, there are 3 things which I want to touch on. Like the first one is gamifying things and building up a streak. First off, it's knowing where you're starting from. If you go from 2,000 steps a day to 10,000, you're going to notice it. But if you go 2 to 4, 4 to 6, every week you build it up, you're not going to notice that much more because it's an extra road or something like that. Gamifying is when you build the streak up and it says you've got a streak of 360 days. You want to get the extra 5 days to get to the year. So you go to everything you can do. No one sees that trophy apart from yourself on your watch, and then you delete the notification. And also someone said to me today, because I'm looking at working with some personal trainers to help them get their business online. And I've built the package, and a lot of people now in the gyms, yes, you've got some people, the Instagram taking selfies, but when you go into gyms, and there's a massive example at the Commonwealth Games. YouTube is amazing for instructions. It's also amazing for bad ones, but there's instructional videos. A guy went to the Commonwealth Games and won gold medal in the javelin with no coach apart from YouTube. He won gold medal. Yeah, if someone can do that, you can see how to get some
there's
technique
access
on
of
there.
Information, and people can, as you say, indoor bike, they can do spinning classes, they've got master classes, the opportunities, but the number one thing is someone's going to be motivated to do motivated change and say, right, I'm now. So there's got to be a goal. You've got to start off with a goal.
Accountability. Yeah, that is key. Whether it's, and it may not be hiring a coach like myself. It's literally, is it getting a training buddy?
Yeah.
Is it saying to someone that you don't necessarily want, like saying to a kid, like, here's £200 if I don't do this stuff. If I don't lose £10, or I don't do this for a certain amount of times. Or I know some people that have wanted to, like someone big in business that I know who said it's $10,000. If I don't stick to what I'm saying, this goes to this charity that I don't like.
Yeah, I know. I knew a couple of guys who have done that with weight goals and things.
It works.
But it starts with the motivation, it starts with a goal, and it starts with something.
Mm-hmm.
Because it builds. It's the person who walks and he says, maybe I can run. I know a friend who's started, walking and then just started running and walking, and now is over the moon of doing 10K. And her goal was to see if she could, run and just see with that, and it's opened up a whole lot of
I think we
other
should
options.
do a whole show on goals, especially with the new year.
Well, goals and mindset is one things we've got on our list at some stage, because I think that's really important of doing that.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to know what other people are doing. What's their story as far as exercise, and what's worked for them. Technology. Strava, the mammal on the bike. Strava, guys do their route and see someone's beaten their time on a certain segment. They're out there. It's fueled things, so that competitiveness has come through, and other people just like the idea that here's the map, and I can see where I've done so many miles. And
I like my wife getting a notification to see where I am, just in case I'm falling into a bush.
I just didn't say this is where I'm going.
The default message says on there on Strava Pro, you put text, it says, "Here's my location, please come and rescue me in Superwoman Lycra." She thought I'd written it. It actually says that, but it's the technology there can keep us safe, but it can also keep us able to be accountable.
Yeah. So what worked? What's worked for you? What's got you more mobile? What's reignited your kind of childhood dream to score the winning goal at the World Cup? What's got you moving, and what hasn't worked? What has been false hope and said, I've tried this, or I did fall into that trap of doing something that I don't enjoy and I've given up, or who's still got the membership? Who's still got that gym membership which you haven't used for a year, but I daren't cancel it because next week or next month or in the new year, when I've got some time. So there's a lot of that.
Anything people are confused about when it comes, like we said, about the nutrition side, but with training, we've got a bulk of knowledge here. Not just me, Roger's got the knowledge as well, and we can help see, is there something, not necessarily on an individual basis, but something more for general side of things.
So it's the early days of this series, and it really relies on some interaction and some your feedback. Some of the things we say you might agree with, some things you don't. That's fine. Let us know, and let's move forwards. And we want to build intrigue and empower people to look into things themselves and question things.
Definitely.
So let us know, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good week.
Take care.
Take care.